15 mind-blowing facts about Kosovo. The most eccentric country on Earth. There's a country where $5 gets you a hot meal, drinks, and even a taxi ride home. Where the parties start on Monday, not Friday. Where the streets are buzzing with youth, style, and confidence, and yes, where the women are so stunning. It's honestly unfair to the rest of Europe. No one talks about it, no one believes it, until they land. This is Kosovo. And everything you think you know about it? Completely wrong. What if I told you this tiny place, smaller than Connecticut, has more contradictions, surprises, and unfiltered energy than most entire continents? You're about to find out why Kosovo isn't just strange. It's the most eccentric country on Earth. You've probably heard of Paris, Rome, maybe even Prague. But what if I told you there's a place in Europe that breaks every rule those cities follow? A country where the nightlife doesn't wait for the weekend. The people are ridiculously young, and the cost of living is so low, you'll double-check your math. This is Kosovo. Most people can't even point to it on a map. And, honestly, that's probably why it's still this raw, weird, and wildly fascinating. Tucked between Serbia, Albania, and Montenegro, Kosovo is Europe's youngest country, both politically and literally. Over 70% of the population is under 35. Think about that. That's not just a demographic stat, that's a whole country run by the youth. The energy? Unfiltered. The culture? Untamed. The vibe? Let's just say it's not like anything else on the continent. Now, here's the wild part. This tiny, landlocked country has lived through war, economic chaos, political tension, and still came out throwing rooftop parties, serving 50-cent espressos, and casually producing some of the most stunning women in the Balkans. It's a country where you can buy a full lunch for the price of a coffee in London. A place where strangers become friends in 30 seconds flat. And the dating scene. Let's just say things escalate quickly when your Tinder radius covers half the country. But Kosovo's eccentricity doesn't stop at cheap beer and beautiful people. It's in their obsession with cafes, their resistance to traditional rules, and their constant urge to prove they belong on the global map, without losing what makes them, well, unapologetically Kosovar. Let me put it like this. If you think Europe is all museums, metro stations, and overpriced pasta, this video will wreck that idea, because Kosovo flips the entire European script on its head. We'll talk about the country, with no McDonald's, but too many bars. The nightlife that starts late, even on a Monday. The bizarre dating rules influenced by both conservative families and wild party culture. The women who look like supermodels but are also running NGOs. And how, after years of conflict, this country has turned pain into passion and weird into wonderful. And no, this isn't clickbait. Every fact you're about to hear is backed by stats, personal stories, or something too strange to ignore. By the end, you'll be questioning why you haven't booked your ticket yet. So, whether you came here because of the title, the curiosity, or just by accident, stay. Because every minute of this documentary will peel back a layer of a country the world barely knows. And trust me, every fact will flip your idea of Europe. Let's go. Fact 1. The most beautiful women in Europe? This was the first thing I heard the second I landed in Pristina. Bro, have you seen the women here? And no, it wasn't some YouTube comment hype, it's the real deal. Kosovo isn't just underrated when it comes to travel, it's criminally slept on when it comes to beauty, and especially the women. So, what's going on here? Why are so many travelers, especially men, saying things like, "I came for the food and mountains but stayed because..." Wow, let me explain how Kosovo ended up with this wild reputation. A big part of the answer lies in Kosovo's Albanian roots. About 93% of the population is ethnically Albanian, And the cultural blend of Balkan, Mediterranean, and Middle Eastern influences has created a look that's seriously unique. Think sharp cheekbones, tanned skin, naturally striking features, and a confident walk that makes you wonder if everyone's modeling part-time. Fashion. Next level. Even if you're just walking down Mother Teresa Boulevard in Pristina on a Tuesday afternoon, it feels like a runway. Kosovo's youth are extremely style-conscious. There's this mix of street fashion and high-end aesthetics that feels both Instagram-worthy and authentic. And because most people are under 30, the whole city moves with this youthful, vibrant energy. But beauty's more than skin-deep here. What surprises most foreigners is the confidence. You're not going to see people shyly hiding behind sunglasses or nervously checking their phones. Kosovar women are present. They walk with purpose. They talk with sass, and they will absolutely call you out if you act like a creep. One British traveler I met said, "I thought Eastern Europe was intense, but Kosovo humbled me in 30 minutes. The women are so stylish, they look you dead in the eye like they've already figured you out. It's terrifying and kind of hot." And then there's the culture shock. Some guys come in thinking this is some conservative post-war country, and suddenly they're sitting in an underground techno club at 2 a.m., surrounded by girls who look like they just stepped out of Milan. Still, it's not just the aesthetics or the nightlife. There's this deeper thing happening. Kosovo is rebuilding its identity, and young women are at the front of that transformation. They're educated, multilingual, tech-savvy, politically aware, and not afraid to speak their minds. You'll meet girls who study architecture by day, DJ at night, and spend weekends hiking in the accursed mountains. There's a sense of freedom that's rare in many parts of the world. But let's be real, this doesn't mean dating is easy here. The confidence can be intimidating, and the dating scene has its own Balkan codes you'll need to figure out. Still, if you're looking for a country where beauty meets depth, style meets soul, and confidence walks in heels or sneakers, Kosovo might just mess with your standards forever. Next up, a country with no beaches, but a bigger party scene than Ibiza. Stay locked in. Fact 2. Dating is direct, but full of unspoken rules. This one might shock you. Kosovo's dating culture isn't just different, it's a total mental flip for most outsiders. Here's the short version. Dating in Kosovo is direct, but it's also layered with more unspoken rules than a royal tea party in London. And if you're expecting Tinder to save the day, good luck, bro. Let's start with the directness. In most Balkan countries, especially Kosovo, people don't do the whole vague, maybe we should hang out sometime game. If a guy is interested in a girl, he'll usually say it. Straight up. No filler. No pretending to just be friends. But here's the twist. Just because he is direct doesn't mean she will be obvious back. That's where things get complicated. See, Kosovo still carries a mix of traditional and modern dating codes, and they clash in the weirdest, funniest, and sometimes most confusing ways. For example, public displays of affection? Not really a thing, especially outside major cities. In smaller towns, even holding hands can turn heads. But inside a cafe in downtown Pristina, flirting is practically a sport. And while dating apps do exist, especially Tinder and Instagram DMs, they're not as heavily relied on as in the West. That's because social circles are tight. Everybody knows everybody. So if you slide into someone's DMs and mess up, you're not just ghosted. You're a meme in someone's WhatsApp group. One tourist from the Netherlands told me, "I tried chatting up a girl at a bar, and she literally said, 'Do you know who my cousin is?' I didn't, but apparently I was already in trouble." That's the thing. Kosovo is small. Like everyone is somehow related small. You're not just dating a person, you're entering a network of friends, cousins, and lifelong connections. Here's where most foreigners go wrong. They treat it like dating back home. casual, no strings. But in Kosovo, intent matters. If you're just looking for a fling, be honest, but expect people to bounce if you're not serious. There's a deep-rooted sense of pride in how relationships are handled. And then there's the family dynamic. It's still very traditional in many homes. Girls often live with their parents until marriage, and the idea of sleeping over early on? That's a hard nope unless you're already considered long-term. But don't let the rules scare you, because when it clicks, when you do get through the layers, relationships here are intense, loyal, and real. People aren't playing games. If they vibe with you, they're all in. And yes, there are love stories that start with a coffee, in Pristina, and end in New York or Berlin. It's happening more and more with the younger, global-minded generation. So if you're a foreigner thinking, "I'll just wing it," slow down. Learn the culture, ask questions, be respectful, and you might just find yourself in the most honest, no BS relationship of your life. Up next, the parties here, they're so good, they happen underground, literally. Fact 3. Coffee isn't just a drink, it's a ritual. Let's get one thing straight. In Kosovo, coffee isn't just a way to wake up, it's practically a religion. Forget meals, forget meetings, forget even water. Coffee is the main event. In fact, if you walk through Pristina at any time of day, it looks like the entire city just collectively decided to quit their jobs and hang out at cafes instead. And it's not just about drinking coffee. It's how you socialize, network, and survive awkward family conversations. One local told me, "If you go more than a day without coffee with a friend, they'll think you're mad at them." Seriously. If you want to talk business, coffee first, catch up with friends, coffee, break up with someone, coffee, then never speak again. The most popular drink? Macchiato. But not the kind you find at Starbucks. In Kosovo, a macchiato is this: creamy, strong, perfectly foamed shot of espresso magic. Locals will swear that theirs is better than Italy's. And honestly, they might be right. Here's what's wild. While Westerners might grab coffee and go, Kosovars sit for hours. You'll see students, couples, business partners, all posted up with just one tiny cup of espresso for what feels like half the day. And no one's rushing them out. Cafes here don't turn tables like restaurants. There's no passive-aggressive server hovering with your bill. You're free to linger, talk, or just stare out the window like you're in a European indie film. Now, here's the crazy part. Coffee in Kosovo is taken more seriously than meals. No exaggeration. Lunch might be skipped, dinner could be something. Small at home, but that 11 a.m. or 4 p.m. coffee break. Non-negotiable. It's like clockwork, and while drinking at bars is common, it's the cafe scene that owns the social life. That's where you build trust, share gossip, spark ideas, or plan your next move. In fact, even job interviews happen over coffee. No formal offices, just two people, espresso in hand, figuring out if they vibe. The cafe itself is also part of the identity. People have their spot. Not just any random place. They'll walk past 3 perfectly good cafes just to reach their table at their barista. There's even this unwritten rule. If you see a friend sitting at a cafe, you stop. You sit. You order another coffee. So yeah, in Kosovo, you don't ask, "Want to meet up?" You ask, "Coffee?" Because here, coffee isn't just a drink. It's a lifestyle. Next, what happens when nightlife starts on Monday? And sometimes goes underground? Let's talk about Kosovo's wild party scene. Fact 4. A capital that parties. Like it's 1999 if you think of Kosovo's capital, Pristina, as a quiet little European city with a laid-back vibe, think again. This place is a party hub that's out to show the world how to have a good time. And not just on weekends. Here's the thing. Pristina doesn't wait for Friday night. It starts Monday. Yeah, you heard me right. If you're planning to hit, The clubs here don't think about it like a standard weekend party schedule. In Kosovo, the party literally begins on Monday, and it doesn't let up until well after Sunday. The nightlife here isn't just active, it's alive with energy, drawing in locals and tourists alike, ready to experience the underground scene, the rooftop hangouts, and the wild club nights. You might be sipping cocktails on a rooftop cafe and then end up in a secret basement club you didn't know existed, listening to a DJ spin tunes until the sun rises. And the best part? The vibe is always laid back but electric. The music scene. Here is a mix of everything, from EDM to techno, hip-hop to live indie bands. And the DJs? Kosovo's got a whole underground DJ culture of homegrown talent that's been slowly pushing into the international scene. If you ever find yourself in Pristina on a Friday night, expect to hear a DJ battle at one of the many clubs or art spaces. And these aren't just any amateur DJs either. The beats that come out of these places could easily compete with the best of them. But what sets Pristina apart from other cities is its underground nightlife. It's not unusual to find a club hidden beneath the ground level of a seemingly unassuming building. These are the spots where people from all walks of life come together, to dance, to laugh, to forget the world for a night. The whole vibe feels like you stumbled onto something a little bit secret, a little bit rebellious. But what about the cost? Let's break it down for you. Kosovo is affordable, especially when it comes to partying. A typical night out won't break the bank. You can get a drink at a trendy bar for as little as $2 or $3. VIP spots or rooftop lounges will cost a little more, but even then, it's still cheaper than the average European city. Here's the deal. A full night out, drinks, entry to clubs, maybe even a snack or two, will cost you less than $20 in Pristina. For a city with such a vibrant nightlife scene, that's a steal. Compare that to places like Berlin, London, or Paris, and it feels like you've hit the jackpot. So why does it feel like you're partying like it's the late 90s? Because Pristina still has this underground, rebellious energy about it. People are here to have fun, break norms, and make memories, and they do it on their terms. From the energetic street parties to intimate pub crawls, to those secret nights. In hidden clubs, Pristina's nightlife is a world of its own. The electric atmosphere, the diverse crowd, and the affordable prices make this a place you'll never forget. But be prepared to party hard, because in Pristina, the night is always young. Next, let's talk about a country that takes their coffee as seriously as they take their parties, because for Kosovo, coffee is more than a drink. Fact 5. $500 a month. Lavish life. You might be thinking, is it even possible to live a comfortable life on $500 a month? Well, in Kosovo, the answer is a resounding yes, and no. We're not talking about living like a hermit or eating instant noodles every night. We're talking about living comfortably, lavishly even, in a country where your money stretches farther than you ever imagined. Let's break it down for you, step by step, so you can understand how $500 can actually give you the lifestyle of a king or queen in Kosovo. Rent, your own space for less than your coffee shop. Tab, the first thing you'll notice is the rent, or should I say, the steal that is Kosovo's rental market. While rent prices can vary depending on where you live, $200 to $250 a month will comfortably cover rent for a decent apartment in Pristina, or pretty much any city. In the heart of the city, you could score a one-bedroom apartment or a studio that's clean, modern, and well-located, just minutes from the action. We're talking central heating, high-speed internet, and stylish furnishings. It's the kind of place you'd happily share with friends. But here, you get it all to yourself for less than a couple of lattes in New York or Paris. Food, gourmet dining, local delights, and supermarket bargains. Now, what about food? In Kosovo, a $50 grocery bill will last you an entire week, and that's if you're eating well. You can shop for fresh vegetables, meats, dairy, and local delicacies at any grocery store or market. Fresh produce is abundant, and if you're into cooking, you'll find yourself with plenty of ingredients to whip up traditional dishes or something from your home country. Not into cooking? No problem. You can eat out at local restaurants for dirt cheap. A meal in a local cafe might cost you around $5 to $10, while fancier restaurants may charge a bit more, but still less than half of what you'd pay in Western Europe. You could easily treat yourself to a hearty 3-course meal without breaking your budget. Transport. Zipping around, without the huge bills. Getting around Kosovo is super affordable too. A monthly public transportation pass in Pristina will cost you a mere $10 to $15. You'll be able to hop on buses, trams, and taxis without worrying about your bank account plummeting. Kosovo's roads are well maintained, and the public transport system is reliable. If you feel like exploring outside the capital, renting a car won't cost you more than $30 to $40 per day. It's cheaper than many European cities and gives you the freedom to explore every corner of this hidden gem. Fun and entertainment. Life without limits. Now, let's talk about fun. With $500 a month, you're not just surviving, you're living. Kosovar culture is known for its vibrant social scene, and that doesn't come at a hefty price tag. Whether it's a night out at a club in Pristina, a trip to a beautiful hiking spot, or catching a live performance at a local venue, your social calendar will be filled without burning a hole in your wallet. You can have a night out on the town, drink and dance until the early hours of the morning, and still have money left for a weekend getaway to the mountains or the coast. Let's compare it to life in the US or EU countries. In major cities like New York, London, or Paris, $500 wouldn't even cover your monthly rent, let alone your food, transport, and entertainment. The difference is staggering. In places like the US, you'd be lucky to scrape by on $500 for a week, but in Kosovo, that's a comfortable month. 5. Digital nomad perspective. Work from anywhere. Live like a local. For digital nomads, Kosovo is a hidden paradise. The cost of living is ridiculously low, and the Wi-Fi is fast, so you can work from a cafe, your apartment, or any other corner of the country without the stress of expensive overheads. Kosovo's affordability combined with its scenic views, rich culture, and welcoming locals make it an ideal place for remote workers who want to live well without having to worry about burning through their savings. Imagine being able to work remotely while soaking in the beauty of the mountains, the bustling streets of Pristina, or just chilling at a local cafe, all for under $500 a month. So, what does $500 get you in Kosovo? It gets you a comfortable, affordable lifestyle with room to enjoy life. It's a place where you can have your own apartment, eat like a king, travel like a local, and still have money left over for adventures, all on a fraction of what you'd pay elsewhere in Europe or the US. If you're a digital nomad, or just someone who wants to live in a beautiful, unique place without the pressure of sky-high living costs, Kosovo might be the dream destination you've been waiting for. Next up, let's take a closer look at Kosovo's cafe culture. Spoiler alert, it's not just about coffee, it's about making connections. Fact 6. Muslim majority. But nightclubs are packed. Kosovo might be a Muslim majority country, but don't let that fool you into thinking it's all about tradition, prayer rugs, and religious strictness. In fact, the country has a unique balance of modernity and tradition. That might surprise you. Kosovo's religious flexibility. Here's the thing. Kosovo has a deep-rooted Muslim identity, with around 95% of the population identifying as Muslim. But despite this, the country doesn't have the kind of rigid religious restrictions you might associate with some other Muslim-majority countries. Instead, Kosovo has a flexible approach to faith. The country's Islamic practices are more cultural than prescriptive. Many Kosovars may identify as Muslim, but they're not strictly observant. Islamic traditions, like fasting during Ramadan or celebrating Eid, are definitely important to the culture, but they're not enforced, with the intensity seen in some other places. This openness and flexibility allow people to follow their faith in a way that suits their individual lives. You'll see some people embracing the religious practices fully, while others might only participate in Ramadan in a more symbolic way. The result is a society that doesn't impose strict rules on its people but still celebrates its roots. Ramadan by day, raves by night now. Here's where it gets interesting. Despite the religious background, Kosovo has a thriving nightlife that defies expectations. Ramadan, a time when Muslims fast from dawn to sunset, is observed in Kosovo. But once the sun sets and the fasting period ends, the streets come alive. For Kosovar youth, Ramadan is more about family gatherings, charity, and community, rather than an oppressive religious event. Once the evening calls to prayer echo through the city, you'll find people enjoying delicious meals, going out to clubs, and socializing with friends. During Ramadan, you'll still see packed nightclubs and bars in cities like Pristina. The whole city may be fasting during the day, but once the evening rolls around, people are ready to unwind and have fun. And these aren't just quiet dinners or small gatherings. We're talking about full-blown parties with DJs, dancing, and raves that go on until the early hours of the morning. It's a seamless blend of religion and revelry that's not often seen in many parts of the world. In Kosovo, the coexistence of Islamic practices and nightlife culture is a testament to the fluidity of modern Kosovo society. And what's more interesting is that this mix doesn't come with any major conflict or controversy. Kosovo's youth have found a way to live their lives in line with their religious background without feeling restricted by it. It's all about balance. You can fast during the day, spend time with your family, and then, at night, let loose and have a good time. It's a healthy blend of spiritual respect and the pursuit of fun. 3. Why these contrasts coexist peacefully. The key to understanding this balance lies in the history and culture of Kosovo. Having been through decades of war and hardship, Kosovo has a resilient, adaptable, and tolerant society. During the war, many aspects of traditional life were disrupted, and the people had to learn how to adapt and survive. Post-war, Kosovo emerged with a culture that is more focused on survival, community, and acceptance than rigid adherence to any one way of life. This creates a unique mindset where people can respect their religious heritage while also engaging with the modern world. There is no pressure to conform to an extreme or rigid interpretation of Islam. In Kosovo, you'll find an openness and freedom that many other Muslim-majority countries don't have. The ability to adapt to the times, while still holding on to cultural and religious values, has created a society where people feel free to embrace the best of both worlds. Kosovo's approach to religion and nightlife is a reflection of its modern, resilient, and youthful population. It's a country that's learning to move forward without forgetting its roots, a place where traditions evolve and where old meets new in a way that's respectful, peaceful, and undeniably cool. A contrast to the Western world. This balancing act of religion and fun can also be seen as a contrast to the more polarized attitudes we often see in the Western world. In many European countries, we see either secularism on one end of the spectrum or strict religious observance on the other. But Kosovo is doing something different. It's blending its Islamic identity with the globalized, westernized party culture in a way that doesn't feel at odds with either one. It's proof that tradition and modernity don't always have to clash. They can coexist peacefully with each side enriching the other. Kosovo is a shining example of how religion and revelry don't always have to be in opposition. Sometimes they can just be two parts of a balanced, harmonious life. So, while Kosovo might be known for its Muslim majority, it's clear that the people here are anything but one-dimensional. With nightclubs packed until the early hours and Ramadan being celebrated in a laid-back, modern style, Kosovo shows that you can have the best of both worlds. It's a country that's carving out its own identity, one that blends respect for tradition with a love of fun. It's this mix of contrasts that makes Kosovo so fascinating and eccentric. Next up, we'll take a look at the country's thriving cafe culture. And trust me, it's not just about coffee. Fact 7. The flag, the borders, and the controversy. Kosovo's flag is a symbol of resilience, freedom, and independence. But it also carries with it a deep political controversy that's still shaping the country's future. When you look at the flag, you see a map of Kosovo, surrounded by 6 stars representing the country's ethnic groups. But behind that flag lies a political battle that's been ongoing since Kosovo declared independence from Serbia in 2008. Let's break down why some maps don't even show Kosovo and why its borders are still a point of contention. The controversy of recognition. The biggest issue Kosovo faces is its lack of universal recognition on the world stage. While over 100 countries, including the United States and most European Union nations, have recognized Kosovo as an independent country, there are still a handful of countries that refuse to acknowledge its sovereignty. These countries, most notably Serbia, Kosovo's former ruler, Russia, and China, don't consider Kosovo a legitimate state. This has led to an ongoing geopolitical tug-of-war, with both sides lobbying countries and international organizations to either recognize Kosovo or maintain the stance of non-recognition. Even the United Nations, UN, has not granted Kosovo full membership because of opposition from these powerful nations, leaving Kosovo in a diplomatic gray zone. 2. Why some maps don't show. Kosovo, you might notice that not all maps feature Kosovo as a separate country. In regions like Serbia, Kosovo is often marked as a part of Serbia, with the label Kosovo and Metohija appearing on the map, a reflection of the political stance taken by the Serbian government. Even within parts of Russia and China, Kosovo is either omitted from the map or shown as part of Serbia. This lack of recognition isn't just a political issue, it's also a symbolic one. Kosovo's exclusion from maps in some countries is a constant reminder of the ongoing tensions between those who see Kosovo as an independent state and those who consider it an unresolved territorial dispute. And even though Kosovo has a functioning government, its own flag, and international diplomatic relations, the absence of official recognition from some of the world's most influential powers complicates things on the global stage. How this affects travel and global relations. For travelers, this geopolitical ambiguity can have some interesting consequences. While Kosovo passports are accepted for travel by many countries, there are still some regions where visas or entry restrictions might apply due to the lack of recognition. For example, Kosovo citizens may face visa issues when traveling to countries that do not recognize Kosovo's independence. But it's not just about borders and travel restrictions. This lack of recognition also impacts Kosovo's ability to fully integrate into international organizations, such as the United Nations, the European Union, and the International Criminal Court. Kosovo is still waiting to join these groups, and while it has been able to join some smaller international organizations, it faces an uphill battle against resistance from non-recognizing nations. Despite these challenges, Kosovo's resilience is unmatched. It continues to build its international relations, gain recognition from new countries, and strengthen ties with those who acknowledge its independence. The country's leaders understand that the long-term goal is to win over more countries, and continue to push for Kosovo's global legitimacy. The economic impact. The lack of recognition also has economic repercussions for Kosovo. Although the country's economy is growing, it remains underdeveloped compared to many European countries. Kosovo's trade is limited by the fact that it's not part of the European Union's internal market. It also faces economic isolation from some of the world's largest economies due to its unrecognized status. Kosovo's economic relationships with countries like Serbia, Russia, and China are strained, and it is sometimes unable to negotiate free trade agreements or secure foreign investment to the same extent as recognized states. However, Kosovo's youthful population and entrepreneurial spirit are driving the country forward. Even in the face of these economic obstacles, Kosovo has made strides in developing its infrastructure, attracting international investments, and building relationships with countries that do recognize it. The nation is full of young professionals and students who see a brighter future and continue to work hard to establish Kosovo as a recognized player on the world stage. What's next for Kosovo? So, what's next? Kosovo's fight for full recognition will continue for the foreseeable future, but the country's growing economic, cultural, and political influence will likely play a key role in shifting the global perspective on Kosovo. As Kosovo continues to establish itself as a sovereign, peaceful, and thriving nation, it's possible that more countries will join the ranks of recognition in the years to come. For now, Kosovo remains in a diplomatic gray zone, but one thing's clear: Kosovo's independence is a powerful symbol of strength and resilience. The country's ability to maintain its identity, culture, and growth despite the geopolitical challenges is a testament to the people of Kosovo's drive to shape their own destiny. And who knows? Perhaps, one day, the whole world will recognize the flag, the borders, and the independence of Kosovo for what it truly is: a thriving country of the future. Next up, we'll dive into one of the most fascinating aspects of Kosovo: its low cost of living and how it's making Kosovo a hidden gem for travelers and digital nomads alike. Stay tuned. Fact 8. The Trilingual Hustlers of Europe. In Kosovo, you'll find something remarkable: people who speak 3 languages fluently, and it's not just for show. It's a way of life. Kosovars are often trilingual hustlers, fluent in Albanian, Serbian, and English, and they switch between these languages like it's nothing. This unique linguistic ability is part of what makes Kosovo so fascinating and eccentric compared to other European countries. But what impact does this have on the mindset of the youth? And what are the broader implications for their education and career ambitions? Let's break it down. The linguistic reality. In Kosovo, speaking 3 languages isn't just an impressive skill, it's a necessity. Albanian is the official language, spoken by the majority of the population, but many people also speak Serbian due to the country's history and the Serb minority. However, English has become the 3rd language in this trilingual society, and it's widely spoken across the country, especially among the youth and in business and education. Being able to speak all 3 languages gives Kosovars a distinct advantage in a globalized world. It allows them to navigate complex social landscapes, connect with different ethnic groups, and pursue international opportunities, whether it's working with foreign companies or studying abroad. Impact on mindset and education. The fact that many Kosovars are trilingual has a profound impact on their mindset. In many parts of the world, being bilingual is already seen as a major advantage, but Kosovars have taken it one step further. English is the dominant language of the internet, global business, and international politics, so knowing English opens up a world of opportunities. Many Kosovars are culturally attuned to the West because of their high proficiency in English, and this has shaped their ambitions and career goals. However, the trilingual environment also has its challenges. Kosovo's education system, while improving, still faces some hurdles. Many young Kosovars are juggling the pressures of learning in 3 languages, with educational materials often being a mix of local languages and international standards. Despite these challenges, the youth in Kosovo are often described as motivated and resourceful, using their language skills to access online education, connect with global communities, and learn from international role models. Youth ambitions. Versus reality now, let's talk about the dreams and realities of Kosovo's youth. Ambitious young people in Kosovo have big dreams. They want to study abroad, start their own businesses, and build careers in international organizations. Trilingualism is an essential tool in realizing these dreams. However, reality often presents a different picture. Kosovo's economy is still growing, and while opportunities are opening up, they are limited compared to Western European countries. Many young Kosovars face the difficult task of balancing ambitious career goals with the limitations of the local economy. The youth unemployment rate in Kosovo remains high, and while there's a strong entrepreneurial spirit among the younger generation, the job market can be stagnant, especially for those looking to work in more specialized or international fields. Despite this, Kosovars continue to persevere, using their language skills, adaptability, and hustler mentality to break down barriers. One of the most inspiring aspects of Kosovo's youth is their resilience. They may not always have the resources that their peers in Western countries have, but their trilingual advantage allows them to connect to a broader world. Many young Kosovars turn to freelancing, digital nomadism, and online entrepreneurship to create their own opportunities and gain the kind of independence that the traditional job market might not offer. 4. Why Kosovo is a hub for the trilingual generation. In many ways, Kosovo has become a hub for the trilingual generation in Europe. Kosovars are resourceful, driven, and ambitious, and their linguistic ability gives them a unique edge in the modern world. Whether they're negotiating business deals in English, communicating with Serbian colleagues in their native language, or using Albanian to connect with locals, these trilingual hustlers are carving out their own paths. It's clear that language is power in Kosovo. Not only does it open doors for personal success, but it's also changing the way the world sees this young, evolving country. With a population that can speak multiple languages fluently, Kosovo is poised to become a more globalized, interconnected society, where the ability to speak several languages doesn't just mean speaking to more people. It means having more opportunities to shape the future. So, when you think of Kosovo, think of a country where the youth have mastered the art of hustle. They're not just learning languages. They're using them as tools for success, building their dreams and carving out their places in the world. And in this small but powerful country, it's only a matter of time before the world catches up. Stay tuned for the next fact, where we'll take a look at Kosovo's thriving arts scene and how it's helping this tiny country find its voice on the global stage. Fact 9. Thermal spas, hidden villages, and natural detox. Kosovo may not be the first place that comes to mind when you think of luxury spa destinations, but don't let that fool you. In this tiny country tucked away in the heart of the Balkans, you'll find some of the most tranquil and rejuvenating thermal spas you could imagine. But it's not just about relaxation. There's a long-standing tradition of natural healing here that goes way beyond any typical spa day. From hidden villages nestled in the mountains to ancient healing springs that have been used for generations, Kosovo offers the perfect blend of off-grid peace and natural detox. Let's explore why locals swear by these mountain routines and how these natural therapies are integral to the Kosovo experience. Off-grid peace. The hidden escapes. Kosovo is home to remote, off-the-beaten-path villages where time seems to slow down, and the hustle and bustle of modern life feels worlds away. In these hidden villages, you can escape the noise of urban living and immerse yourself in nature. The mountain landscapes provide the perfect backdrop for unwinding, and many of these villages still hold on to traditional practices that have been passed down through generations. In a world where everything is fast-paced and connected, these peaceful retreats offer something incredibly rare: the chance to completely disconnect. People from all over Kosovo and beyond flock to these spots for a natural detox. Local villagers live by the rhythms of nature, waking with the sun, tending to animals, and embracing the slower pace of life. Whether it's yoga by the river, hiking in the mountains, or simply breathing in the fresh air, these rural villages offer the ultimate reset. Mountain routines. The local way of life for Kosovars. Mountain life isn't just a vacation, it's a way of life. Many locals have developed a set of rituals that help them maintain their physical and mental well-being. These routines often include hiking in the hills, picking wild herbs, and bathing in the healing thermal waters that Kosovo is so well known for. Mountain therapy is deeply ingrained in the culture, and the benefits are obvious to those who embrace it. The fresh mountain air alone is enough to rejuvenate your senses, but locals swear by bathing in thermal springs for its healing properties. These thermal spas aren't just a luxury experience, they've been used for centuries as a natural form of detox and wellness. Whether it's a quick dip in a local spring or spending a whole day soaking in a natural thermal pool, these practices are part of daily life. 3. Healing. Springs. With generations of history, Kosovo's natural thermal springs have long been known for their healing properties, and it's not just a tourist trend. These springs have been used for centuries, with generations of locals relying on the warm, mineral-rich waters for everything from muscle recovery to mental clarity. Many of these healing springs are nestled in remote mountain locations, often in places where few outsiders venture. But for locals, these springs are a sacred part of their heritage. The minerals found in the water are believed to have healing effects on the body, from improving circulation to alleviating stress. It's no wonder that many people consider these springs to be the ultimate detox, not just for the body, but for the soul. Some of the most famous thermal spa destinations in Kosovo include Banja and Shala, which are known for their soothing mineral waters that have been used for centuries. These springs have been an essential part of Kosovo's culture, attracting both locals and travelers seeking rest and healing. The waters themselves have a unique calming effect, with the natural minerals providing benefits for everything from skin conditions to fatigue. For those looking to reconnect with nature and experience true relaxation, Kosovo's thermal spas are a must-see. A natural detox. Like no other in a world of constant distractions and technological overload, there's something incredibly appealing about going off-grid. Kosovo's thermal spas and hidden villages provide that chance. A chance to get away from the noise and indulge in a natural detox that restores your body, mind, and spirit. But it's not just the spas that make this experience special. It's the way the locals live and breathe the natural detox lifestyle every single day. By connecting with nature, embracing local traditions, and immersing themselves in the healing waters, Kosovars are able to achieve a level of well-being that's hard to come by in today's modern world. And for visitors, it's the perfect way to experience a truly relaxing and rejuvenating escape. Whether you're staying in one of the charming mountain villages or soaking in one of Kosovo's famous thermal pools, you'll leave feeling like you've experienced something transformative. A chance to reconnect with nature, recharge your body, and detoxify in ways you didn't even know you needed. So, if you're looking for a natural detox, Kosovo's thermal spas and mountain routines are calling your name. It's the kind of place where the restorative powers of nature truly shine. And once you've experienced it, you'll understand why locals swear by these time-honored traditions. Stay tuned for the next fact, where we'll take you deeper into Kosovo's vibrant cultural scene and show you how this small country is becoming a powerhouse of creativity and innovation. Fact 10. The war that still echoes today, approx 500 to 600 words. Kosovo's history is one marked by struggle, pain, and resilience. The 1999 Kosovo War stands as one of the defining moments in the country's modern history. A war that, despite ending over 2 decades ago, continues to echo through the lives of its people. While Kosovo has risen from the ashes of conflict, the scars of war are still felt today, shaping the culture, the art, and even the minds of those who lived through it. Brief 1999. War background. The 1999 Kosovo War was a brutal conflict that arose from ethnic tensions between the ethnic Albanians and the Serb minority in Kosovo. As the tension escalated, the violence reached its peak, prompting NATO to intervene with a bombing campaign that lasted for 78 days. The war officially ended with the withdrawal of Serb forces and the establishment of UN administration in Kosovo. The result? Kosovo would remain in a state of limbo for years, fighting not only for its freedom, but for its identity. It wasn't just about soldiers on the front lines. Entire families were torn apart, and the fabric of Kosovo's social structure was forever altered. The war displaced hundreds of thousands, and in its wake, a deep sense of loss and grief settled over the country. Over 13,000 people were killed, and many more were wounded, both physically and emotionally. The war marked a defining shift in Kosovo's history, and its effects are still felt by its citizens today, 2 decades later. Emotional impact on locals. The impact of the Kosovo War is not just a matter of history, it's something that shapes everyday life. For many Kosovars, the memories of the war are still fresh. The emotional scars, loss of family members, the trauma of displacement, and the difficulty of rebuilding lives are still very much a part of the collective consciousness. It's easy to understand why the war still affects the mindset of the country, even as the nation moves toward rebuilding and establishing itself on the world stage. For the older generation, the pain of losing loved ones, homes, and their sense of safety is a part of their identity. However, it's also a reminder of resilience. Many locals have resurrected their lives from the ashes of war, but the scars remain visible, not just in personal stories, but in the landscape itself. Buildings with bullet holes and war memorials scattered throughout Kosovo serve as constant reminders of the pain that still lingers. And yet, despite the pain, Kosovo has emerged as a symbol of hope and recovery. The people here are survivors, and they wear that badge with pride. It's this collective resilience that has helped shape the country's identity moving forward. The war may have left wounds, but it also ignited a flame of strength, hope, and determination in the heart of every Kosovar. Art, tattoos, graffiti. How pain turned into expression. One of the most striking ways in which the legacy of the Kosovo War manifests itself is through art. In the years following the war, Kosovo became a canvas for expression, with tattoos, graffiti, and art installations all reflecting the pain, struggle, and healing of the people. Tattoos, in particular, became an important medium for Kosovars to express their personal experiences of the war. Many young people, in particular, turned to ink as a way to memorialize their experiences, family members they lost, or even the very concept of freedom. Tattoos of war symbols, wings, and peace signs have become a common sight among young Kosovars, serving as personal tributes to a turbulent past while representing their journey toward hope and healing. Similarly, graffiti has served as an outlet for Kosovars to express their feelings about the war and their hopes for the future. Street art, often seen on the walls of Pristina and other cities, is raw and emotional, capturing the complexity of the situation. While some pieces are deeply personal, others reflect the political tension and national pride that come with Kosovo's recent history. In a way, Kosovo's streets have become a living memorial, where the art tells a story of resilience and rebirth. Kosovo has also embraced art installations that speak to the collective healing process. Many of these installations serve as historical narratives, chronicling the conflict, its effects, and how Kosovo has fought to rebuild itself. These installations are seen in museums, galleries, and public spaces, and they've become an important part of Kosovo's cultural identity. They transform pain into something that can be shared with the world, allowing both locals and visitors to understand the depths of Kosovo's journey from conflict to recovery. A nation. Reborn. Despite the horrific scars left by war, Kosovo has shown the world that it's possible to rebuild, even after such profound destruction. The emotional and cultural impact of the war is still deeply felt in Kosovo's art, public consciousness, and even in the way people interact with each other. But from this darkness has emerged a nation of resilience, where every person carries the weight of the past, yet looks forward to a brighter future. Kosovo's recovery is still a work in progress, but it's undeniable that the country has transformed its pain into something positive. Art has played a pivotal role in this transformation, offering locals a way to process their emotions, heal, and move forward. It's a testament to the indomitable spirit of the Kosovars, people who refuse to let the past define their future. So, the next time you visit Kosovo, don't just look at the monuments or the war memorials. Take a closer look at the art, the graffiti, and the tattoos, because they are more than just images. They are the stories of survival, the expressions of grief, and the symbols of hope that define this incredible nation. Fact 11. Borders can bite. If you're not careful, if you're planning to visit Kosovo, you'll want to be aware of a unique challenge that many travelers don't expect when crossing its borders: the complicated relationship between Kosovo and its neighboring countries, especially Serbia. The geopolitical tension between these two nations doesn't just affect political discussions, it also has real consequences for travelers, especially when it comes to passport stamps, visa requirements, and border checks. Travel complications. With Serbian versus Kosovo passport stamps, Kosovo declared its independence from Serbia in 2008, and since then, the two countries have not seen eye to eye on Kosovo's status. This means that Serbia doesn't recognize Kosovo's sovereignty, and the two have a complex relationship. But why does this matter for tourists? The issue arises when you're traveling between countries in the region, particularly when crossing borders. Here's the problem. If you enter Kosovo and get a Kosovo entry stamp in your passport, Serbia will not let you enter their country without complications. In fact, many Serbian authorities won't allow entry at all if they see that you've been to Kosovo. So, if you're planning to travel from Kosovo to Serbia, or vice versa, you might face some issues with your passport. While this might seem like a logistical nightmare, it's not the end of the world. It just requires some careful planning. The key is to keep an eye on where you're getting your stamps and to be aware of which countries you want to visit next. Many savvy travelers have found ways to navigate these tensions by ensuring that their Kosovo stamp doesn't show up on their passport when traveling to Serbia. This can be tricky, but it's possible with a little foresight. Visa-free perks, but also tense border checks. Despite the tensions between Kosovo and Serbia, Kosovo passport holders enjoy some perks that might surprise you. For example, Kosovo citizens can travel visa-free to a number of European countries, which is an impressive feat, especially when you consider that Kosovo is still not officially recognized by some EU members. However, this visa-free access comes with complicated baggage. The border checks are often tense and can be time-consuming. Expect long lines, strict questioning, and sometimes even delays when crossing the border into other countries, especially for those holding Kosovo stamps in their passports. For many travelers, the experience at the border is the least fun part of visiting Kosovo, but it's something that's part of the package when dealing with a country still not recognized by all. It's not all doom and gloom, though. If you're entering Kosovo via Macedonia, Montenegro, or Albania, the border experience tends to be a bit smoother. And if you're coming in from Kosovo's airport, you'll usually have a quicker and simpler process. But, of course, traveling by land across the Balkans can throw some unexpected challenges your way. So, just be prepared. Real traveler: mistakes and how to avoid them. Let's face it, border crossings are stressful enough without having to worry about passport stamps and visa issues. Many travelers have found themselves in uncomfortable situations at Kosovo's borders, often due to simple mistakes that could have been avoided with just a little bit of research. One common mistake involves not checking the status of your passport stamps before entering another country. Some travelers have been stopped at the Serbian border, only to find that their Kosovo stamp is causing all kinds of problems. In some cases, this has led to denied entry into Serbia, which can throw off your entire itinerary. To avoid this, make sure you understand how your passport stamps will affect your travel plans, and always check with border officials beforehand. Another mistake is not being aware of the tension between Kosovo and its neighboring countries. Many travelers assume that because they've visited Kosovo, they can easily travel to Serbia or other countries in the region without any issues. But understanding the political situation will save you a lot of headache when it comes to crossing borders. For example, you may need to ensure that your passport has no Kosovo entry stamps before you travel to places like Serbia or Bosnia. To avoid these issues, one simple piece of advice is to carry 2 passports, if possible, when traveling through this region. Many travelers use this method to avoid any serious issues when crossing the border. A second passport can help you circumvent the need for Kosovo or Serbia stamps, thus reducing the potential complications. 4. Bottom line: be prepared and stay informed. While traveling through Kosovo and the surrounding region requires some additional planning, it doesn't mean you should avoid the country. Far from it. Kosovo is a beautiful, culturally rich destination, and with a little preparation, you can avoid the most common border crossing problems. Just be aware of how your passport stamps could affect future travel plans, especially when traveling to Serbia. Kosovo's borders might be tricky, but with the right knowledge and a bit of foresight, you can navigate them without a hitch. Stay informed, be prepared, and enjoy all that this eccentric country has to offer. Fact 12. Kosovo's youth culture will shock you. If you think of Kosovo as a country mired in old traditions and political struggles, think again. The youth culture here is alive, loud, and unapologetically rebellious. From music to art, Kosovo's younger generation is actively shaping its identity, and their choice of soundtrack might just shock you. Music that speaks rebellion. Forget the classical or folk tunes you might associate with Eastern Europe. Kosovo's youth culture is fueled by punk rock, rap, and spoken word. These genres are the sound of resistance and change, and they play an instrumental role in how young Kosovars express their frustration with the past and their hopes for the future. Kosovo's alternative music scene is thriving, and it serves as the backbone of the country's youth subculture. Rap battles in the streets of Pristina or underground punk concerts are where the youth express everything from their daily struggles to their defiance against social norms and political limitations. Kosovo's youth culture is raw, untamed, and passionate, and it's channeling all of that energy into their music. In fact, many of these music scenes act as forms of political activism. While the country's history is one of political turmoil and division, these artists are using their craft to unite people and advocate for social change. These songs are not just catchy beats or aggressive lyrics, they're messages, loud and clear, that demand attention. Rap, punk, and spoken word. The influence of rap music in Kosovo is undeniable. Artists use their lyrics to speak about everything from poverty to identity to global injustice, often with a hard-hitting political message. Kosovo rap isn't just about catchy hooks and smooth rhythms. It's about telling the stories of those who feel they've been ignored or marginalized. Alongside rap, the punk scene in Kosovo is huge, especially in Pristina, where you'll find small, intimate clubs where bands play aggressive, fast-paced music that echoes the frustration and rebellion of the youth. Punk has long been a vehicle for resistance, and in Kosovo, it's no different. This genre allows young Kosovars to channel their frustration with the world around them into something that's defiant and powerful. But it's not just about loud music. The spoken word scene is also gaining momentum, where young poets and activists take the stage to perform pieces that highlight the country's struggles and the generation's desires for change. Spoken word artists address everything from the legacy of war to economic issues to the search for identity in a country still healing from its recent past. The spoken word community is a mix of poetry, politics, and raw emotion, a direct outlet for those wanting to voice their thoughts without filters. 3. Political activism. Through lyrics. One of the most shocking things about Kosovo's youth music culture is how deeply intertwined it is with political activism. For many young people, music isn't just a form of entertainment. It's the language of protest. From rap lyrics to punk anthems, Kosovo's youth are using music to speak out about the issues that matter most to them. Take, for example, the recent rise of hip-hop artists who tackle issues like corruption, injustice, and ethnic division. These artists are challenging the system, demanding change through their songs, and reaching an audience far beyond Kosovo's borders. The lyrics serve as a social commentary, a tool to highlight injustices and bring awareness to human rights. Issues. Punk bands in Kosovo often write songs about social alienation, inequality, and economic hardship, topics that resonate with young Kosovars trying to break free from the remnants of a past riddled with conflict. The punk scene offers a space for young people to express their frustration with the establishment, make their voices heard, and challenge what they see as a stagnant society. Even spoken word poets in Kosovo use their performances as a form of political protest. Poetry often reflects on the pain of war and the struggle for independence, but it also looks toward the future, with a message of hope and the desire for a better, more just society. In this way, the youth culture here is deeply intertwined with a sense of activism, and the country's music scene is just one way in which this generation is demanding change. Bottom line, Kosovo's youth aren't waiting for change. They're creating it. The music scene in Kosovo is a reflection of the broader youth culture, vibrant, rebellious, and filled with hopes for a better future. Kosovo's youth are not waiting for change to happen. They're creating it with their lyrics, their beats, and their passion. If you've ever thought of Kosovo as a country that's stuck in the past, this youthful explosion of creativity will definitely change your mind. Kosovo's youth culture is raw, authentic, and full of potential. And it's not just about music. It's about a generation of young Kosovars who are determined to leave their mark on the world. Through their music, they're challenging the status quo, fighting for social change, and boldly paving the way for a brighter future. So, if you ever find yourself in Kosovo, don't just listen to the music. Listen to the message. These young people have a lot to say, and they're saying it loud and clear. The soundtrack of Kosovo today? It's a mix of revolutionary rhythms and raw emotion, and it's something you'll never forget. Fact 13. Traditional. Weddings that are next level. If you think weddings are just about the ceremony and reception, Kosovo will completely blow your mind. Traditional weddings here are extravagant, wild, and anything but ordinary. In fact, they can last for days and are packed with rituals and customs that make you feel like you've stepped into an ancient celebration. Ready for a wedding experience that's a far cry from your typical Western ceremony? Here's a sneak peek into the multi-day party that is a traditional Kosovo wedding. Days-long celebrations. Weddings in Kosovo aren't just a few hours of dancing and eating. They're days-long events that include multiple celebrations and rituals, each more exciting than the last. A typical wedding can span up to 3 days or more, with the first day usually reserved for the pre-wedding rituals, including intimate family gatherings and blessings. It's not just about saying, "I do." It's about bringing together families and communities in a celebration of unity. The main event, the grand reception, which kicks off with an elaborate entrance that can feature traditional music, dancing, and the exchange of gifts. The bride and groom are treated like royalty, surrounded by family, friends, and often dozens of guests. And while there's plenty of food and drink, the real fun happens on the dance floor and during the various rituals that unfold throughout the event. 2. Dance, rituals, and money showers. One of the highlights of a Kosovo wedding is the dance rituals. These aren't your typical slow dances or waltzes. At a traditional wedding in Kosovo, family members, especially the brides and grooms, relatives, participate in intricate, high-energy dances, such as the vale, a traditional Albanian folk dance. These dances are fast-paced, full of energy, and often involve the entire wedding party, from grandparents to cousins, who form a large circle and twirl and stomp to the beat. But here's where it gets really interesting: the money shower. Imagine the groom tossing wads of cash into the air while guests rush to grab it. This isn't just for fun, it's a symbolic act, showing prosperity and good fortune for the couple as they start their married life. The bride and groom's family also participates in this money shower, with guests throwing bills at the couple during dances and speeches. It's a little wild, but also deeply rooted in tradition, symbolizing the blessing of wealth and prosperity for the new couple. Cousin chaos, the drama of family. If there's one thing that's guaranteed at a Kosovo wedding, it's that family chaos will be part of the fun. Cousins are often the life of the party, with their own personal dramas, rivalries, and alliances playing out amidst the dancing and celebrations. As much as these weddings are about joy and unity, they're also a chance for family members to playfully compete and throw jokes and mild insults at each other. All in good fun, of course. It's not uncommon for wedding guests to get caught up in some friendly banter, whether it's between cousins showing off their dance moves or older relatives making speeches about how the newlyweds should behave, and sometimes with a good dose of humor. This family dynamic adds an unpredictable yet highly entertaining aspect to the whole event, with everyone getting involved in the drama, laughter, and excitement. Ancient traditions still alive. While the celebrations might feel modern, Kosovo weddings are still deeply rooted in ancient traditions. Many of the rituals, from the money shower to the folk dances, have been passed down through generations, preserving a connection to the country's cultural and religious heritage. The customs that govern the wedding celebrations aren't just about having a good time. They are a way to honor the couple's families and ancestors and preserve the heritage of the region. Even the attire is rich with history. The bride's dress is often a handmade creation that incorporates traditional patterns, and the groom's attire may include embellishments that highlight his cultural background. These details are essential for honoring family roots and paying respect to the older generations. A party you'll never forget. If you ever get invited to a traditional Kosovo wedding, don't expect a quiet, intimate affair. Kosovo weddings are a spectacle that will keep you dancing, laughing, and marveling at how much attention is paid to every detail. Whether it's the traditional dance rituals, the money showers, or the family chaos, every moment is an adventure. So, would you be ready for a wedding that's not just a day of celebration but a full-on cultural extravaganza? Kosovo's traditional weddings are a reflection of the country's vibrant and dynamic spirit, mixing old-world charm with a wild, modern energy that'll leave you with memories you won't soon forget. Fact 14. Nature that feels untouched ni umaka. You think of Kosovo. Nature might not be the first thing that comes to mind, but it should be. Kosovo's landscapes are some of the most untouched and raw in Europe. From rugged canyons to towering mountains and tranquil lakes, the country offers a natural beauty that feels like it's been preserved for centuries. If you're looking for an adventure in nature that feels like you've discovered a hidden paradise, Kosovo is where you'll want to be. Rugova Canyon, a slice of heaven. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast canyon. The walls tower above you, covered in lush greenery, and the Rugova Canyon seems to stretch on forever. It's one of the most breathtaking natural wonders in Kosovo, and yet it's still relatively unknown to many travelers. The canyon, carved by the Bistrica River, is a natural masterpiece, and its rugged terrain offers incredible hiking opportunities for those who love a good challenge. But what truly sets Rugova apart isn't just the beauty. It's the sense of solitude it offers. Unlike more tourist-heavy destinations, this place has a rawness to it, where you can hear only the wind and the rush of the river. Standing there, you'll feel as if the world has paused, and it's just you and nature. It's the type of untouched wilderness that feels like you found something special, something not yet altered by human hands. 2. Shar Mountains, a hiker's dream. Next up, we have the Shar Mountains, a sprawling mountain range that spans the border of Kosovo and North Macedonia. These mountains are the epitome of untamed nature, with rugged peaks that offer some of the most incredible hiking views in all of Europe. Whether you're trekking through dense forests, navigating steep ridges, or gazing at the snow-capped summits in the winter, the Shar Mountains will leave you speechless. What makes the Shar Mountains even more fascinating is their biodiversity. Home to rare species of plants and animals, including bears and wild boar, these mountains offer a look at nature in its purest form. If you've ever wanted to feel like a true explorer, the Shar Mountains will make you feel like you've stepped into a world untouched by civilization. The air is fresh, the views are jaw-dropping, and the experience is something you'll remember forever. Brezovica, the wild, untamed ski resort. Kosovo isn't necessarily known for its ski resorts, but Brezovica might change that for you. Nestled in the Shar Mountains, this ski resort is a hidden gem, far from the crowded slopes of the Alps. Brezovica offers a raw, untouched experience that combines the thrill of winter sports with the serenity of nature. It's the kind of place where you can spend the day skiing through snow-covered forests, feeling like the only person on the slopes. What's amazing about Brezovica is that it retains the charm of a destination that hasn't been overdeveloped or commercialized. The resort itself has an old-school, rustic feel, with small wooden chalets and unpretentious cafes, adding to the authenticity of the experience. Whether you're a seasoned skier or a first-timer, skiing in Brezovica feels like a journey into untamed nature, far from the crowds and noise of more mainstream resorts. Nature that feels like home. What sets Kosovo's landscapes apart from other destinations is that they don't just look wild, they feel wild. Rugova Canyon, the Shar Mountains, and Brezovica all have a certain untouched quality to them, where nature feels untamed, raw, and incredibly authentic. It's the kind of beauty that makes you want to stay longer, breathe deeper, and just take it all in. The nature here isn't polished or manicured. It's real, unfiltered, and wild. You won't find overly touristy signs, crowded photo spots, or artificial attractions. What you get is nature in its purest form, just as it's been for thousands of years. It's photogenic beyond words, but it's not just about the pictures. It's about the feeling of being one with nature, in a place that feels like it, hasn't been touched by time. If you want to experience nature that feels like it's from another world, Kosovo is calling your name. Whether you're hiking, skiing, or simply soaking in the views, you'll leave feeling like you've discovered a hidden paradise in the heart of Europe. Fact 15. Misunderstood. But proud of it, Kosovo has often been seen through a lens of misunderstanding, both in the media and across the globe. For many people outside of the Balkans, Kosovo might seem like a place in perpetual chaos, wrapped in the aftermath of war and political upheaval. But locals, they've got a different story to tell. Kosovars don't just embrace their country's misunderstood reputation. They wear it like a badge of honor. The global reputation. A history of war and struggle to the world, Kosovo is often associated with conflict. After declaring independence in 2008, the country has faced skepticism, political isolation, and a tarnished global image. Kosovo's 1999 war is a haunting chapter in the nation's history, and international media often emphasizes the darker side of the country. Many people still see it as a region recovering from destruction, struggling to find its place in Europe, overshadowed by its contentious borders and unresolved diplomatic issues. But here's the thing: this view is outdated. Kosovo has evolved. The war, while still a pivotal part of its history, is not what defines it today. Yet, the international image lingers, often focused on the past, not the present or future. 2. The local reality, a country of pride and resilience. If you were to ask a Kosovar about the global reputation, don't expect them to shy away from the conversation. Pride is palpable here. In fact, many Kosovars lean into their past, using it as a source of strength. They understand the world sees them as misunderstood, but they don't mind. It's almost as if being seen as the underdog has become part of their charm. For Kosovars, there's a resilience that runs deep. They know they're seen as a small, post-war country with little recognition, but they've turned that underdog narrative into something to be proud of. Kosovo might be young, but it's built on a foundation of survival and pride. They've fought for their place in the world, and no amount of misunderstanding will make them falter. Humor as a survival tool. What's remarkable is the humor Kosovars use to cope with their misperceptions. If you hang out with a local for any period of time, you'll quickly notice that sarcasm and dark humor are often the tools of choice. They've lived through war, political tension, and economic instability, and yet they have an ability to laugh about it. You'll hear jokes about the international community's confusion, poking fun at the constant mispronunciations of Kosovo's name, and the endless debates about its recognition. It's not bitterness. It's the humor that comes with living through so much, yet still standing tall. In fact, this humor plays a significant role in how Kosovars handle adversity. The ability to laugh at the situation is a coping mechanism that provides both relief and strength. It helps them navigate the misunderstandings they face daily, and it's something that adds to the distinctive personality of Kosovo. Pride in identity. We are Kosovo. At the end of the day, Kosovars may not always be thrilled by the way the world sees them, but they're not here to change anyone's mind. They're focused on who they are and what they've overcome. The locals will tell you, with confidence, we are Kosovo, and they're proud of it. This pride is everywhere. It's reflected in the art, the music, the fashion, and even the food. Kosovo's identity is rooted in a spirit of survival, a deep connection to their heritage, and the collective will to move forward despite the odds. They might be misunderstood, but they're not about to let the world's perception define them. They've faced some of the toughest circumstances and come out on top. It's an attitude that permeates every aspect of life in Kosovo. You'll find it in the way locals interact with tourists, with warmth, humor, and pride. Kosovo may be small in size, but the heart of its people is anything but. Survival as a badge of honor. Ultimately, Kosovo's misunderstood reputation isn't something that locals shy away from. It's something they own. It's almost like a rite of passage. The country has had to fight for everything it has: its independence, its freedom, its voice. And now that it has it, there's a sense of pride that comes from being the underdog, being the place that's still rising against the odds. Kosovo may not have the most polished image on the global stage, but it's a place that grows stronger with every challenge. And while the world may still be figuring out what Kosovo is all about, one thing is certain: the Kosovars know exactly who they are, and they're not about to let anyone else tell their story. What Kosovo taught me as I wrap up this journey through Kosovo, I find myself reflecting on everything this small yet incredibly resilient country has taught me. It's funny how a place can totally shatter your preconceived notions. And that's exactly what Kosovo did. For all the misunderstandings and misconceptions people might have about it, this country has more depth, heart, and character than any tourist brochure could ever capture. Before visiting, I had the same assumptions that many people have about Kosovo, a place defined by conflict and political tension, where the scars of war would be the only thing you'd see. I expected a place marked by despair, struggling to move on with its past looming over it. But what I found was something entirely different. Kosovo, in all its eccentricity, refused to be defined by its past. It's a place that embraces its history while facing forward, determined to build something fresh. The youthful energy here is electric, and instead of seeing endless ruins or broken spirits, I saw people thriving, laughing, working, living, loving, and creating. They're not just surviving, they're building. I witnessed a cultural renaissance in Kosovo, where art, music, and fashion are redefining what it means to be a part of this country. And let's not forget the fact that Kosovo has the most beautiful women you can imagine, and that alone is a stereotype that will keep you coming back for more. If there's one thing Kosovo taught me, it's the power of resilience. No one here hides from their past, but they don't let it define them either. Humor in the face of adversity has become a way of life. I saw people laugh at the very things that might bring others to their knees. Kosovo's strength doesn't come from avoiding challenges. It comes from facing them head-on and laughing all the way through. Whether it's in the coffee culture or in their nightlife, the people here have a certain swagger about them. They know they're misunderstood, but they don't care. They wear their identity like a badge of honor, and it's something I deeply admired. I realized that in the end, what makes Kosovo truly special is its ability to adapt and thrive despite its circumstances, embracing every twist and turn life throws its way. Embracing the unseen beauty. Kosovo is one of those places that lures you in with its beauty. But it's the unseen stories, the history, and the people that truly make it unforgettable. The landscapes, from the rugged mountains to the lush valleys, feel like something out of a dream, but the human stories are what make them real. The generosity of the people, the humility they carry, and their warmth make Kosovo a place you can't help but fall in love with. What the world can learn from Kosovo is this: don't judge a place by its past. The country is a living example of how history doesn't have to define a place or its people. It's about looking ahead, creating and transforming pain into pride. Kosovo is resilient not just in how it survives, but in how it thrives despite all odds, a place to reimagine. Europe Kosovo might not be on everyone's travel radar, but it should be. It's not just the wild card of Europe. It's a place that challenges you to rethink what Europe is all about. It's raw, it's real, and it's a place that shows you the true power of the human spirit. Kosovo has reminded me that sometimes the most unexpected places have the most incredible stories. So, what can the world learn from Kosovo? To embrace resilience, to see the human side of things, and to always look beyond the headlines. Because here in Kosovo, the story is still being written. And trust me, it's one you're going to want to be part of. Now, before you leave, think about this. Kosovo may still be Europe's best-kept secret, but as more people begin to see it for what it truly is, there's no doubt it'll become one of the most sought-after destinations in the region. And who knows? Maybe the next time you see this country, it'll be on the tip of everyone's tongue. No longer a misunderstood gem, but a bold, shining example of what happens when a country refuses to be defined by its past. Kosovo, I'll be back. Would you survive a place where flirting is an art, politics is a war, and coffee beats religion? Comment the weirdest country you've ever visited, or want to visit, and I'll reply with a crazy fact you didn't expect. Next, a country where women propose to men, and weddings can be cancelled if the goat doesn't smile. Bet you won't guess it.